Good evening, everybody. This is Mango Meditation here. I realized that I never made a tutorial on how I do fused claptons. I figured I'd just do a quick little tutorial on that, maybe to help people who haven't tried it, who want to. It's pretty easy for the most part. It just takes a feel, as with anything, it takes practice. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use 26 gauge stainless steel as my cores. So basically when you're fusing a clapton, the only difference between that and a regular clapton is you have more than one core wire that you're claptoning, or what they call fusing. So as I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out a piece fairly long, probably about a little over 2 feet. I'm just going to stretch it off the roll so I don't have to put it in the drill and straighten it. And the next step is I'm going to take these two wires, I will bring them together, keep them parallel. I'm going to bend a 90 in the ends. I'm going to insert them in the chuck of the drill. Center as possible. Of course I missed. Even though you may have done this 1,000 times, it doesn't always go as planned. You just got to remember to take a deep breath and create some space in between thoughts, especially the negative thoughts. Try not to identify with them, so to speak. Don't give them the fuel to continue to dominate your consciousness. But anyway, I won't preach at y'all. So after I get them in here and they're kind of parallel, what I'm going to do next is lay my drill down. And I'm going to put my wires in my swivel over here. Now you can choose to clapton this in whatever gauge you like, as long as it's higher than the core. So what I do is I'll pull tight and then I'll run my fingers down it. Fucking camera. To keep it parallel. And I like to clapton and fuse clapton counterclockwise, whatever works for you. But what I am going to use is some, I guess we'll just use some 38 gauge nichromaty. See if I can get a closer view. So we have these 90s that we bent on the wires before we put them in the chuck. And all I do is I take the wire and I wrap it around. Either one or both. In order to hold my claptoning wire. So when I do this, I basically hold from the 90-degree angle here to here, and I'll go a little bit backwards. That way it lays nice and tight. Now you will see the wire will probably start tinging when it's going forward, and that just means I have it leaning back too far, and it might go on itself. But don't worry too much, because you can usually just reverse the drill, pull the wire off that went over top, overlapped, and then start your clapton over. So let's see how this goes. I'll move this camera back. Can't get a good angle. It starts slow. You can always go faster if you want, but They miss gaps in their clapton. Don't forget to breathe. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I usually keep this spool back about 12 inches. Something like that. It gives enough room for the wire to do what it's going to naturally do anyway. I didn't think you could see it, can you? It's a fucking wire. Aha, there it is. And you start with a little bit angle backwards, not much. When I get to the end, I let it wrap back on itself. I guess it kind of holds the clapton a little bit tighter. So, and if your clapton gets twisted, now's a good time to straighten it out. If you got some like nylon pliers, you can pick up at Joann Fabrics. I like to have 2 pairs, but it doesn't really look that twisted. It's got one over here. So what I'm going to do is grab shortly after the twist. I'm going to hold this pretty tight. And then I'm going to run the drill the opposite direction in order to try to get it out. But what I'll do now that it's not coming out is I'll just straighten it out manually once I get it off. So I'm going to cut it up here above where I finished doing the clapton. And I'm going to switch to see if I can get you a little macro shot to see if I screwed up. Be right back. So I guess here's my work. Damn it. I guess it doesn't look like I screwed up. So what we'll do is I'm going to re-pause it and come back and show you how I twist it up, I guess. So I guess we're back again. What I'm going to do is just straighten those couple little kinks out. So what you do is you grab it and you bend it a little bit past at the top and flat. That way when it bends back, if there's any spring in it, it'll stay kind of straight. Just makes it easier when you go to wrap the coil. And keep the wraps nice and tight and purdy all that cool porn stuff. So anyway, what I usually do, as I've done in the other ones, is I fold the ends of this clapton up, or the core wires, to keep the clapton from spreading when you wrap it. I don't know if anybody else has a better way of doing it. Please let me know. Just going to do each end now, even though I'm going to cut this in half. Alright, so as I usually do, I'm just going to put it in my vise like I try to do if possible. It just works best for me. So I get this wire in there nice and flat. Take a vape. I just do this on a 2.5 inch or 2.5 millimeter. It's just the way I like my vape experience on fused claptons. This motherfucker. I'll just put my jig in there. I wrap from the end, while keeping tension on the end as I'm pulling. Oh, by the way, I'm going for probably 8 wraps here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 8. So once I get down, as I always do, I get right up on the end, make sure it's nice and tight on here, and then I'll just take this and fold it up in order to put that little 90-degree angle in there. And I'll bring this one around so both leads come out nice and straight, level. Cut my ends off. And move on to the next one. Man, as the day goes on, my vision gets blurrier and blurrier. Guess I'm getting old, huh? Anyway. And 8. And then we'll come back for a macro shot. Running out of time. Alright, so here's the best macro shot I think I can get right now of the finished dual 8 wraps. Fused claptons. Any questions, just comment or find me on Instagram and DM me on there. Alright, y'all. Peace.